I didn't like running backs when I came to the NFL. Had no respect for running backs. And I don't mean that in a nasty way.
I couldn't tell because your face was so straight. I'm glad you. I got to break character for a second.
Appreciate that. I was
like,
no.
Okay, he's the greatest. He's like, I don't like running backs. No respect
I mean, really,
for him. I was like, damn. Can you? I'm glad you laughing now. Thank you. Holy, yeah.
Yeah.
But anyway, I was.
What's up, everybody? I'm Peanut Tillman, and this is the NFL Players Second Acts podcast. And with me, as always, is my trusty co-host, Roman Harper. What's up?
What's up, Peanut? I'm doing great, man. I wanted to jump right into this this next guest, man. I know he can't be here forever. Plus, he's my favorite defensive player of all time, especially growing up. I just want to say that right now. So get to it here, so then we can actually, pan over to my favorite defensive player.
Hall of Fame Mike linebacker. He was basically the face of that 1985 defense, a.k.a.
Chicago defense.
Monsters of the Midway.
There we go.
Considered the greatest defense of all time. Nicknamed Samurai Mike in college. After football, he was a coach in the NFL. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the pod, Mike Singletary.
Yes!
Greatness!
Yeah, and okay. Coach, and it's okay we call you Coach.
You call me whatever you want to call me. I'm fine.
Coach Mike. So I played with you on Tecmo Bowl, right? So I played with Mike Singletary on every single snap. So you made every play in the pass game.
Absolutely.
You made every play in the run game.
Do you even remember Tecmo Bowl? Do you know?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I hear this all the time.
Yeah, like this.
I get stopped in the airport.
Yes.
You were a beast, and like it was you.
Yes, this is like my experience. This is my first football game that I was like really into, and that
Same.
You were my first guy.
Okay.
And so this is an honor to have you sit here in front of us and be in in the presence of you today. So I just
greatness.
I know you probably hear this a lot, but thank you, thank you for being you. You helped me win a lot of games.
Thank you.
Now I'm spoiled because I played for the Bears for 12 years, and my entire time there, defense, monsters of the midways, takeaways, like that's what I know. So I got there in 03, and it was what you and the rest of the other defensive greats, the Hamptons, the Dents, the Urlachers, the Marshall, like it was what you all built, and for that I am forever grateful. And just, man, like, Chicago was known for its defenses. I don't care about offense, and you know this. Like, it's just
they kind of still know.
It's a defensive city. You can't say that, man. Like, don't take little digs at my team. I don't do that with them sorry Saints.
You're right. I mean,
don't take.
I don't
digs.
fight back when you say sorry, though.
I know.
Okay. Like,
it's
what it is.
I'm going to stay out of that one.
I still live there. But one of the things I want to talk about, and it's I don't want to say it's made you famous, but it's made you, and it shows the type of person, and it shows the character that you have. Talking about the Vernon Davis situation. Something happened. Vernon did something. He didn't react the way he was supposed to, as far as a champion or character, or a guy with good character at the time. And then you went to the media and you addressed it. And people have made memes off of this, but it was, I want winners. I can't live with them, can't play with them, don't want them. I want winners.
I would rather play with 10 people and just get penalized all the way until we got to do something else, rather than play with 11 when I know that right now that person is not sold out to be a part of this team. It is more about them than it is about the team. I cannot play with them, cannot win with them, cannot coach with them, can't do it. I want winners.
Can you talk about just that moment, that situation?
Well, I think first and foremost, when I stepped into the San Francisco situation, it was a lot of hardheads that were doing their own thing and not really listening to the coach. And I had a conversation with Vernon when I became the head coach, and I said, Vernon, I want you to understand something. What you've been doing will not work. We can't do that going forward. I said, this is the team, and everybody is going to work as a team, even myself. I am not above the team. And I said, I want you to understand that. That goes for everybody on our team. If you do anything that violates that, then I'm going to have to take steps that will make you understand that these are the boundaries.
Right.
And so, he tested it. It's like a kid that you tell him, hey, if you do this, here are the consequences. And he tested that.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what he was thinking about. I don't know what he thought I was going to do. Mm-hmm. But I told him probably if something like that happens, you will not be a part of this team. And so I said that. I followed through with it, and the rest is what it is.
The best part about it, though, is he apologized, and he later said, like, yo, that moment changed my life. And that's a testament to you, the character you are, and what you said. It's about the team. It's always about the team. I'm not above the team. You're not above the team. And when he's talking about that, he commends you. He's like, yeah, man, it was a bad culture. It's just he was trying to do something, and I wasn't feeling it. But looking back on it now, like, yeah, I was 100% in the wrong, and I commend you for that. Just like letting them know, like, you were trying to establish a new culture, and let them know it was about the team. And this was obviously, you're an old school guy. You even said in the interview, it's like, I'm from the old school. It's always about the team. So I appreciate what you brought to the 49ers and that mentality and the culture that you were trying to change.
Well, thank you.
Well, I want to piggyback on this same situation because I think we all get focused up on the big saying was, you can't win with them. Rather play with 10. Like, it was great. Like, this is what young people remember you as. I remember you from Tecmo Bowl with the eyes and the highlights and all the big hits, and when we actually showcased all the hard hits in the NFL films. But when you started off, you first apologized for when you got there. You apologized to the San Francisco media, and you said it will change, and that this team wants to be champions, which they later on became or got close to it. That same team with a lot of those same core guys that you were there with. You like, these guys want to be great. But it still comes down to three things in a game. Number one, you got to out-hit the team. That's Mike Singletary. Number two, it's not a charity. We can't give the ball away. We can't give the game away. It's not a charity out here for anybody. And then number three, you said it's all about execution. And we didn't do that today. And so I think those are the words that none of us get to actually hear, and I want to make sure all of our viewers get to actually hear the saneness that was Mike Singletary in that moment when we all see the real that seems a little insane, and that's what we repeat. But you caught your breath once, two times in this whole interview. We watched the whole thing. And to me, it was like, man, this guy was right on point. And the most important time, I didn't hear all that in the soundbite. But that's when I went back. I want to make sure everybody hears the whole thing, so you get to hear the whole true story of what Mike Singletary was in the biggest moment, what some people may remember him as San Francisco head coach in that moment. But your actual words were dead on and impactful.
Well, I think, first and foremost, it's interesting that when I stepped out of playing the game, I remember as a player, being a leader of our team, what we had to deal with, and so many times the players put the coaches in difficult situations, and it makes the coach have to follow through with some of the things they said they were going to do. And then oftentimes, the coach ends up, if we want to win this game, we got to have this player. Mm-hmm. So if I do this, if I really follow through and do what I said I was going to do, we're going to lose the game. Mm-hmm. And so, but to me, it's always, you may win that game, but in essence, it's just like your kids at home. You're going to lose their trust because you said, if this happens, this is what I'm going to do. But you didn't follow through because it was a different guy. You didn't think it was going to be that guy. The most important guy. And the way you build a team is the most important guy must be the guy, both on the field and off the field. And if he's not that guy, then you got to find another guy.
Now, what did this whole situation, how did it impact you as a coach going forward? Were you more confident? Did you know now, like, yeah, this is what I'm supposed to be doing? Or did it make you question your decision?
About what I did with Vernon?
Or just question even being in the coaching game, like just overall?
Not that day. I didn't. What I didn't realize is how far removed. You know, when you are a player and you're playing the game, it's one thing. The coaches are saying things. That's great. Okay, and you're not really that much invested in what's happening in life. You hear it, but you're focused on football. You're focused on wins. You're focused on being all pro, the best you can be. But when you become a coach, particularly the head coach, then you begin to see the whole picture. And so the thing that I guess the thing that I was most really concerned about after I became a coach, you begin to see where the game has gone, how much the game has been removed from what it used to be. I remember when I first started playing the game, when I sat down, I had coaches talk to me about this is what football is all about. This is what even the position is all about, the position of middle linebacker. When you're the middle linebacker, you have to be the leader. You have to set the standard for how we practice, how we prepare. When we get on that field, what we do, how we get there. All of those things. As the middle linebacker, that's what you do. So to me, when I became a head coach, it's going, miles ahead forward, I was the head coach, so I'm setting the standard. And to kind of get a slap on the wrist, hey, wait a minute, that's a grown man. You don't do that to a grown man. I'm hearing all these people talk about it. But I said, yes, he's a grown man. But when you become a part of a team, just like when you become a part of the family, there can't be rules that are here for some people and they're set at a different level for others. When you do that, then we got a problem. That's the way it is in our society. That's the way it is on different teams, different organizations. And to me, it has to be, whenever you have a team of any kind, this is the team, this is the culture, and it's for everybody. And it starts with the leader, and it goes down, it trickles down to everybody else. If it's not going to be there, then you don't have a team because there's no consistency. A team is consistent across the board. That's how you develop the culture.
Yeah. So there are a lot of people that know you for that rant, and you're so much more than that. Right, as Rome was saying, the technical ball, like you were a dominant player. If no one has ever seen film on you, and you had to describe yourself and your style of play to a person, how would you describe yourself, your style of play?
I would say my style of play, the samurai warrior. That is my style of play. It is all out. It is reckless. It is abandoned. But at the same time, there is a respect for my opponent. I'm never going to dog my opponent. I'm not trying to take his heart. What I'm trying to do is compete to win at the very highest level, but in such a way that when that game is over, that competition is over, I can walk up to that person and shake his hand and say, next time.
How did they name you the Samurai Warrior? Like, were you into martial arts?
Did they have anime or something like that?
Where'd the samurai come from?
First of all, it was the energy. It was the intensity.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's a certain intensity. I'm this way right now, but if I were to play a game, there would be something that would change. There's a change that's going to happen. Yep. There's going to be a transfer. I'm stepping outside of the line, and I'm talking to you, and it's, hey, man, how you doing? What's going on? But when I step inside the line, it's different. You know what? It's on. Yeah. So that really is the to me, that's the difference, knowing how to do that.
Okay, so this is exactly what I wanted to hear. So, because growing up, first of all, the nostalgia to be in Chicago Bears defense at the time when you guys were there doing what you guys were doing, playing for the 46. Like, all these words in football jargon have become legendary because of what you guys were able to do. And you were a vital part of that. You know, when we see you guys on all the highlights where you can see the smoke coming from up underneath the helmets, and when you're barking out orders and blah, 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 and all we see is
get over. And Hampton, scoot back.
Your eyes are, I don't even know if you blink. Did you ever blink?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. I
ain't never saw it. Never.
So, you know,
all these someone's soul.
I could see this so vividly as a young kid. This is all I ever wanted to do. I wanted to play at Soldier Field. I wanted to play in cold weather because I could see the steam coming out of my. Now, when I played in cold weather, I changed my mind. I changed my mind.
What?
Once I did that, I changed my mind. But these are all things that I picked up as a young man watching NFL's Hardest Hits with you and the rest of your teammates and all these other things and this defense that you guys ran. Like, so just that is the encapsulation of what we all felt. I don't know if you ever thought that you were presenting that picture or what you actually thought that you were presenting. I'd love to know that from you. Or is this just who Mike Singletary has always been as a person and as a player?
Well, it was really the first time that you didn't just come on the field. Buddy Ryan, that defense came out of all of our linebackers getting hurt at some point in time before I got the ball. Before I got to the Bears.
Oh, okay. Wow.
Everybody had gotten hurt, all the linebackers. So Buddy had to use DBs. So he had to protect them, and so now you got 6 defensive linemen across the board. And then you got a couple of linebackers behind where he used DBs, but he had to cover them up, Doug Plank and Gary Fensick. So that's where 46 came from, Doug Plank. That was his number. So that's where the 46 came from. So when I started, when I started, playing on first down and second down, well, I wasn't playing. At the time, I was middle linebacker. Most middle linebackers came out of the game on third down. So I'm thinking, I'm not coming off the field on third down. You know, if I'm good enough on first and second down, I got to figure out what do I need to do to become the third down guy. So that was a conversation for Buddy and I, and we went back and forth for a year before that happened. And finally, he had cursed me out enough, told me not to talk to him about it. It ain't happening because it's too complicated. So finally, I asked him again, and I said, Buddy, I'm getting ready to go home, back to Houston. It's off season. If I were to play on the 46, what would I have to do? If I had to play on every down, the nickel, every down, and that 46, that guy that was that middle linebacker on the 46, on every play he had to do about 5 or 6 things, depending on the keys. Mm-hmm. And so for me, it was going home. Buddy said, hey, you need to lose. You need to get down to like 225, 226.
Really?
Yeah, you need to get down to about 225. Because you got to cover receivers, you got to cover backs, you got to cover tight ends down the field. You got to go out there and cover wideouts as they come across the field. You take them as they come across. So he said, and you can't do that. So I said, okay. So when I came back, I was 225, 226. And Buddy was pissed at me the minute he saw when I came back from off season. He said, why'd you lose that weight? I said, because I want to play third down. I told you you're not playing third down. Okay. A couple of weeks later, our nickel guy got hurt, and I ran on the field. Buddy was cursing me out, and I was working with the nickel guys. I was going down there working with the corners and the safeties and all that. Well, he got pissed when I went down there and did that. Why are you going down there working with them? So I just need to work on my stuff. But so I'm covering Willie Gault. I'm covering Dennis Gentry, the fastest guys, quickest guys.
Yeah. All
the time. I'm covering Walter. That's all I wanted to cover. And so when that happened, Buddy, that Monday, Buddy called me in the office. It's okay. Here's what we're going to do. I'll put you in on 46. And you make one mistake, you're out. You understand?
One mistake.
Yes. So never mistakes. Never mistake. It just increased the amount of film work that I put in. It just increased the amount of, that's what I wanted. That's what, as a leader, that's what you want. You want your leader on your team to say, give it to me. Give it all to me. What else? Is that it? Okay, let's go. That's what you want. When you have that, you got a chance. Yeah.
Yeah. So when I got to Chicago, obviously they give you like a little class with the rookies and they talk about the defense and, you know, it's one of the oldest franchises in the NFL. So you're thinking like, okay, yeah, this is cool. Then I get out there for my first mini camp with the vets. Well, you know, rookies, you're good. Get out there with the vets, and you're just like, oh, snap, that's Brian Urlacher, that's Mike Brown, that's, you know, you're running through all these names. And I'm like, man, am I supposed to be here or not? My question for you, when you got drafted, you get to Chicago, at what point did you know, yo, I can lead this defense. I can lead us to be champions. How long did that take, or was that like an immediate thing that you just knew? I'm the Mike backer. Y'all going to play on my level.
Here is the thing. This is what really caused the rift between Buddy and I from the first day I got there. I was in the huddle as a rookie, and Dan Hampton, who was All-Pro, and Alan Page, who was future Hall of Famer, were in the huddle. And I'm a rookie. I'm getting in the huddle, and Dan and Alan Page are talking. So I get in the huddle, and I'm calling the defense, and they're jacking around, whatever. And I look at them and say, hey, what are you doing? Let's be quiet in the huddle. And Buddy was walking by with his pipe, and he said, wait, hold on. You know, he said, do you know who that is? He's pointing to Alan Page. I said, no, I know who he is, but I don't care who he is. He's in the huddle. And when you're in my huddle, you be quiet. So Buddy said, we're going to have a problem. So that was the beginning of our relationship. So I came to Chicago thinking that I don't know where they are. I know they haven't won in a number of years. Oh, we're going to win. Mm-hmm. We're going to win. So I went to Chicago. And when I stepped in the huddle that first day, it was with the intent to start. It was with the intent to go to the Super Bowl. It was with the intent of becoming an All-Pro. It was with the intent of being a Hall of Famer. All of those things when I stepped in the huddle the first day.
Those are your goals when you came in?
Those are my goals at 12 years old.
Oh, tell me about that. How did those become your goals? Not everybody has such lofty goals. What led you to that point? What gave the young Mike Singletary that type of confidence to say, you know what? You know, I really truly am going to shoot for the stars and hopefully land on the moon.
First of all, I'm the last of 12 kids. I'm the last of 10 kids. And so I was the smallest of the 10 and the least talented. We were a Pentecostal family. My father was a Pentecostal pastor. Mm-hmm. And so we could not play sports.
Your uncle, your brother's a pastor as well, right?
Well, no, they were, a couple of them were Christian, but not pastors. So being a Pentecostal, no football was allowed at all. And so I wish my brothers would have been able to play. But anyways, my father and my mom divorced when I was 12. And before they divorced, about when I was 9, 10 years old, there were some tapes that came into my house, and those tapes were Norman Vincent Peale tapes, the amazing results of positive thinking. So when I got those tapes, my family was kind of in chaos, disarray, dad, mom fighting all the time, all these kind of things. And brothers in and out of jail, sisters having babies out of wedlock. It was tough. And so I got these tapes, and I put these tapes on, and Norman Vincent Peale taught me how to close my eyes and visualize myself in what I wanted to be. I saw the Dallas Cowboys play. Roger Staubach was the guy that I saw, that he captured my eyes. and I wanted to be that guy. He was the team leader. He always said the right thing. He looked like he was the spiritual leader on the field. Guys believed in him, and he willed that team to win. So when I saw him, that's what I want to be. Right away, I knew I wasn't a quarterback, but I wanted to be a leader, and that's the one thing that I know I am. Mm-hmm. And so when I had the opportunity to look at the Cowboys play, I would sneak and watch the Cowboys play on Sundays, mm-hmm. and that was hard to do. Sometimes I was sick, and I'd stay home and watch the Cowboys. So fast forwarded, my mom and dad divorced. My brother Grady moved back home when I was 12 years old, and he was killed in an automobile accident 6 months after my dad left. So I'm thinking, I don't know about this God thing. I don't know about, being the best that I can be and all this other kind of stuff. God let me down. God let us down. Mom got to go to work and work 2 and 3 jobs. And Grady is home. He's trying to do the right thing, and he's now dead. So where am I? So I made the decision to basically just kind of meander through life. My mom challenged me that day, a couple of weeks after the funeral, my brother's funeral. And she said, son, I want you to know that there's greatness in you. I want you to know that I'm going to ask you something that's unfair, but I need to know if you can do this. She said, I need to know if you can be the man of the house. And in a moment, I was like, me? You want me to be the man of the house? I'll still suck at my thumb. And so,
sorry to laugh.
But I said, okay, I can do that. I walked in my room, and keep in mind, I've been listening to Norman Vincent Peale about what I wanted in life, what I wanted to be in life. So I walked in my room, I got out a sheet of paper. I got a book coming out that has all this in it. Mm-hmm. But I got out a sheet of paper, and I began to write out what I knew, what I didn't know then, but I know now was my vision statement. It was find a way to get a scholarship to go to college, get my degree in which I'd be the first in my family to do so, become an All-American, get drafted and go to the NFL, buy my mom a house and take care of her for the rest of her life, become an All-Pro, go to the Super Bowl, and own my own business. I wrote that out and I put it on the wall. I looked at that every day and every morning. Every day before I went to bed at night, I looked at it. And before I went to school in the morning, I looked at it. That was my driving force. And I wasn't even playing football at the time. I had to beg my mom to let me play.
So what age did she let you play?
12.
Okay. So when you became the man of the house, you got to play football.
Yes.
That is awesome. I don't know how many times you've shared that story, but I'm glad we got that today.
Yeah, I never knew.
It's in the book.
Yeah.
What's the name of the book?
The name of the book is Greatness. Hold on. We just came up with the name last week. Greatness. I'll think of it.
Okay, that's fine. Let's talk about sweetness.
Go ahead.
I don't think I've ever got to ask anybody what it was like to be his teammate. I've never got to meet or sit down with one of his teammates. He was my second favorite player. I mean, I played with you guys on Tecmo Bowl. So, what was that like? I remember the videos of him with the Pumas running up the hills.
Any accolades that he received, he deserved. I didn't like running backs when I came to the NFL. Had no respect for running backs. And I don't mean that in a nasty way.
I couldn't tell because your face was so straight. I'm glad you. I got to break character for a second.
Appreciate that. I was like, no.
Okay, he's the greatest. He's like, I don't like running backs. No respect.
I mean, really,
I was like, damn. Can you? I'm glad you laughing now. Thank you. Good. Holy, yeah.
But anyways, I was telling. When I first met Walter, everybody was telling me how crazy he was. He's a prankster and all that. And I went up to Walter when I first got there, the rookie, and I said, Walter, I said, I really respect you and I appreciate you as a person, but whatever you do, don't pull a prank on me. I don't take those well. And I don't laugh a whole lot either. So Walter was like, okay. That was my first
That's how
meeting
you
with him.
introduce yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I really, having the opportunity to watch him and see him, he was an amazing individual, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I've ever seen him say no to an autograph. People would be lined up, I don't know how long, and Walter would stand there and sign every one of them. He was what you want in an athlete, the attitude of an athlete toward the fans. That's what you want, because he realized and recognized the importance of being this figure, and people loved him, and it was a beautiful thing to see. When I first got there, no one was asking for my autograph, and I'm thinking like, man, that's a long line, man, all the time. So, but it was really cool. As a player, he could do anything.
Yeah.
He could throw the ball 90 yards. As a matter of fact,
touchdowns.
he played quarterback one game. We got all our quarterbacks hurt. Yeah, he started. Played quarterback in one game.
I knew that.
I did not either.
I knew he threw like a couple halfback passes and stuff for some touchdowns.
No,
I didn't know
he started and played quarterback in one of our games.
So what was that like, that whole week of practice?
Yeah. Oh, it was cool, man. It was really cool.
Because you don't just show up. Like, what was
was
that
really
like
cool.
at
Still
practice
rocking
that
34.
Yeah, just like
it was really
gonna
good.
play
It was the first sign of a Wildcat.
Right?
Yeah. But he started and played quarterback. Every quarterback we had was done, toast. And he started.
We all have signature plays. I got a signature play, me and Randy Moss. I don't know what yours is.
It doesn't matter.
I think your signature play is
Don't worry about it. We've worried about Mike, right?
Marshawn Lynch, you trying to like make the tackle twice.
I don't think that's.
That's your signature
do not
play.
think that's the playbook.
I do. Your signature play. 31, Eric Dickerson, NFC title game. Let's talk. Can you talk us through that play?
It was like we were in college again when I was at Baylor and he was at SMU.
Yeah.
We've met many times like that.
And we already know your opinion on running backs.
Can't stand them. Don't respect them.
We already know.
Don't like them.
Now, you know what? There's nothing more beautiful than watching a running back in their greatness running. I love to see a great running back, but when I'm playing against them, I don't like them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Say less.
Yeah.
Do you remember the play?
It was a routine play. It was a 3rd and 1. And, they normally, if he's lined up on the right, he's going to probably come across the ball, run it left. If he's lined up on the other side, he's going to come across. But more than anything, it was just sometimes you just got to go on blind faith. Eric is such a big guy. A lot of people don't realize how big he is.
He was 6'2" at the time.
And so just his lean is going to get him a first down if you got a 3rd and 1. So I knew that I'd made up in my mind, you got to go. The minute if this guy moves, this guard moves just a bit, just to show me. Yes. If the guard moves just that much, I got to go now.
So, I read something that you had talked about after winning that Super Bowl. You'd won defensive MVP that year. You were All-Pro. Went to another Pro Bowl. You guys had just won a Super Bowl. And I think the word that you said was that you had felt emptiness at that time in your life. Like you were just incomplete. Could you maybe talk about how just because I remember I kind of went through something very similar in my life where, we had won a Super Bowl. I just became the highest paid person in my position, and I was living in LA, and I felt sometimes the most alone I'd ever felt in my life. And I literally had everything under the sun that I ever wanted as a young man, and it just was missing. And I think that's when I was called to faith. And so could you maybe share about your journey and your story at that point in time and how you were feeling?
Absolutely. That was another marker that I had in my vision statement going to the Super Bowl, and I just envisioned the night before what that was going to be like, how amazing the feeling of being the world champion and all of that. And right after the game, the confetti is coming down, and everybody is laughing and crying, and right away I felt this loneliness, like this anger, frustration, and loneliness at the same time. And I'm like, Lord, what in the world is this? Where did this come from? And there was this small, quiet voice in me because I didn't like my dad. And I had this thing with my dad. I hadn't talked to him in a while, didn't want to be around him. And this small voice said, you need to forgive your father. I'm like, no. We don't talk, we don't argue, we don't do anything, so I'm good. No, need to forgive your father. So that voice didn't go away for several days, and finally I picked up the phone and called my father from Chicago, and he was in Houston. I said, Dad, he picks up the phone and said, Dad, I just want you to know I forgive you for everything that happened. And he said, hey, forgive me for what? I put clothes on your back, food on the table. What are you talking about? Roof over your head? What else is there? And so, needless to say, for the next hour and a half, we're screaming, I'm crying. And well, the next step was for me to go to Houston, get on a plane and go to Houston a couple of weeks later. So I'm sitting across from my dad like this, and on the way down to Houston, I'm just imagining the things that I was going to say to him.
Yeah.
I was going to tell him what I really felt about him. But yet, when I get there and I'm sitting across from my dad, and I started talking to him, why did you treat Mom the way you did? Why did you treat us the way you did? Why did you act like this? Why were you angry all the time? Why were you? So as I begin to ask him those things, he's looking at me. And he really didn't have an answer. And in that conversation, I began to understand he got kicked out of his house at 13. Mm-hmm. He married my mom at like 16. And next thing you know, you got 10 kids. So I began to realize that he didn't have the tools. You had no tools whatsoever. You're still a kid.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at him, he's 70-something years old, and I'm looking at him, but he's still 13.
Yeah.
He had the tools of a 13-year-old. How do you deal with issues? How do you deal with disagreements? How do you deal with, when you can't pay the bills, when money is not coming in? How do you deal with that? Well, it turns to emotion. And normally that emotion is going to be anger. So that was a tremendous opportunity for me to get to know my father. And at the end of that conversation that I was having with my dad, I asked him at the end, I said, Dad, I know that I'm a lot like you. I said, can you help me not to be like you? Can you help me? I don't want to wreck my family. I don't want to wreck my kids. I don't want to do that. What can you tell me to help me? That was the beginning of our relationship as it begins to grow, and I'm the only one, the only kid out of the 10 that actually forgave my dad and really became friends with him.
Did he have an answer for you when you asked him that?
No, he just said, it's like you're driving down this highway and you need to exit, but you just never do.
Yeah.
You just keep going.
So exit.
Yeah. you need to exit and just slow down.
Yeah.
And kind of, think about where you are and being able to ask for forgiveness, being able to say I'm sorry, being able to reflect. I began to read like crazy about family and relationships and those kinds of things, and begin to really get in my Bible like I'd never had before, and begin taking those steps towards being all the things that I knew my father could have been.
Yeah, yeah. What emotions did you feel after you basically said, I forgive you, and then you got to know him and you understood, like, man, he's 70, but he's 13. Like, what emotions did you feel after the whole entire conversation?
After the entire conversation, you begin to realize, as you begin to look around, the more I begin to read and understand America, our history, and particularly being an African-American father, growing up in the South, all of those things, the amount of frustration that he felt, the dreams that he had, that simply because he was an African American he could never do. And being a part of something great. I know I'm a lot like my dad, and there's nothing, if I'm going to do something, it's going to be great. If I can't make it great, then I don't need to be a part of it. Whether it's being a husband, whether it's being a father, whether it's whatever job I'm in, whatever that is, it's going to be all out. Because I feel that's the only way that I can represent God and say that I'm a believer. I shouldn't have to say it. You should be able to look at me and see by my action, that man is a believer. That man loves God. That man, without me saying a word.
Right.
And if that's not it, then something's wrong.
So, do you think all your personal turmoils from the childhood trauma, which childhood trauma usually hurt other people? This is what life has taught us. If you read and you research, this is what happens. Did all these emotions bottle up? Like, now hearing all your stories and everything else, I totally understand why you were the player that you were, who you were in between the white lines versus outside the white lines. This whole blurred vision of who Mike Singletary was as being the man since 12 years old in his own household growing up. All these other things. Did that kind of make you the coach who you were? The way that you played on the emotions, you understand and coached the same way, in the same kind of vein as the way you played. And Ray Lewis had a great quote when he described you when you were the linebackers coach at Baltimore. It was good. You saw Ray
celebrate. I just talked to him the other day.
Ray was celebrating his birthday. He was praising the Lord the other day on his birthday. Yeah. Ray done come a long way. So he said this about you. Singletary helped him grow as a player and a person. He understands it's about people more than anything else, Lewis says. That's what makes coach so powerful. For him, coaching is almost like fatherhood. Teaching the game is one thing, but giving a man tools and understanding, that's bigger than the game.
That's deep.
He knows that that's who I am. My thought process, if I'm going to coach and really do what I believe coaching was always meant to be, is if I'm coaching someone, winning is kind of a byproduct of helping you to become a man. If I'm winning championships and, 5 years later, you're in a situation where you're beating your wife, or you're jumping on your kids, or you're doing something then I fail as a coach. My job is to help you understand football. That's gravy. That's, I got skill, I got talent, I got that's gravy. That's something that I should do. But being a man, that's something that takes a lot of work.
Yeah, it does.
Takes a lot of discipline. Take a lot of sacrifice. And if I'm not gonna have you go through that, and I'm setting you up for failure because you think you're winning,
right?
But you're losing because You know, the time that you play football, that's a short span of life, but you have the rest of your life. And, you know, the last thing that I would want my players to say about me is, why didn't coach teach me that? Mm-hmm. You know, sometimes the coaches are the last line of defense. You're the last opportunity to help that man get what he needs before he goes into real life. So, anyways.
Do you still want to coach?
You know what? I think, in all honesty, there are so many, the needs now in our society are so great. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure that if I were coaching now, that I'd be looking back outside of the lines, realizing I need to be out there where the fight is. Mm. And I'm not quite sure if I'm not a dinosaur now in the game, because my thought process isn't going to change. I'm not going to say it's okay to, you know, say what you want to say and do what you want to do. I'm not going to be okay with that. Now I'm violating the game. Yeah. To me, there's a respect that comes to the game. You don't just play the game because you're great. You play the game because there's a code of ethics that you play by and you live by. When I was in junior high and high school, the athletes were the role models. You say, hey, you know, you need to be like Jimmy, man. He's got 3.0, he's studying, he's doing it.
Right.
The athlete, that's what you want. Well, it's not that way anymore, and there's a reason why that is. So easy to lose focus sometimes.
Okay, I got one that I'm going to back it up with one. What keeps you busy right now?
What keeps me busy?
Yeah.
Studying, man. I study, I'm always studying about health, brain health, heart health, energy, graphene, graphite, carbon, methane.
Hold on. I don't know
what's graphene.
Yeah, I don't know what that one was. Hold on. I don't know what that one is.
Graphene is just a form of energy. They're making batteries with it.
I got you.
So graphene, graphite, you know, those kinds of things. Methane, carbon, those are things that the new energy. You know, we got to find a way to have this country continue to run, and those are some of the things that, you know, are going to be a problem if we don't do something about it. So that's something that I'm involved in and study a lot. The health is huge, particularly mental health is huge. So I study a lot about that, and knowing that you played this game and you played it at such a level, I probably broke more helmets than anybody.
Oh, this is exactly what I wanted to go to. This is my backup.
Oh, go right ahead.
Oh, well, I mean, your career at Baylor is legendary. Okay, you were a two-time All-American. Your sophomore year, you had 232 tackles. I don't really know how you accomplished that.
I don't either. 2 tackles a play.
And so one game you had 35 tackles. You also had three other games with 30-plus tackles. They actually
35 tackles in one game.
Yes, this young man did. And they actually tried to dispute it, and they actually went through the film, and they said, no, it was correct. And so, and then the other thing was you actually broke 8 helmets in college over your 3-year career. Was that your helmet or somebody else's helmet?
Both.
Oh, okay. Both.
Both with an F.
Okay, so like when you're doing these things,
that's how you say it. Both.
How
did your brain get rocked with that?
How intimidating is that? When I can't imagine, because I don't think you thought yourself as anything bigger than anything. You probably just Mike Singletary. But how much fear do you think you struck in other people, and was that a goal?
It really wasn't. You know, I never set out to intimidate anyone. You know, I've had guys ask me, man, what's wrong with you? What are you mad at? I'm not mad at anything, you know. Or what are you taking? So I'm not taking anything, man. Oh, so you're not going to tell me what you're taking. So you're not going to tell me what you're taking. Them guys are mad at me because I'm not taking anything, you know. But in all honesty, football was just, and everybody was always telling me I was too small. You know, you're not big enough. You're not fast enough. You're not mean enough. You're not. And so for me, it was, I always believe that, you know what, Lord, I'm going to give everything I have to you. And you take it and do whatever you want to do with it. I'm just going to give you my best. That's all I can do. And so I always had, whether it was a coach or a mentor, that I was able to ask, how do I become the best? And they would always give me this list. How do I become an all-pro? How do I become, defensive player of the year? How do I become MVP? How do I do? So I always would find someone that would be honest with me and tell me, okay, you need to do this every day. You need to do that every day. You need to do this every day. You need to do this twice a week. You need to do that. And whatever it was, at the end of that, I would always add a little bit more and say, okay, Lord, here's my Christmas list, and I'm gonna go after it. I'm gonna work at it, and I'm gonna do the very best that I can to bring you glory. And at any time I accomplish any of these, it's because of you.
Yeah.
And I mean that from the bottom of my heart.
You are very accomplished in all the things that you do. So we ask this question to a lot of our guests. You get 4 picks. Who would be on your personal Mount Rushmore from the time you were born till today of people that have had influence and just poured into you over your life?
Obviously, number 1 is my mom. Number 2, I would have to say.
Well, let me see, why mom?
Why mom?
Yeah, just a.
Let me put it this way. My mother was everything. She was amazing. She was the one that, when the doctors told her to abort me because she was in her 40s, had several miscarriages, she said, no, I'm not doing that. God's got something special in here. She's the one that sat me down across from me and with the Bible and just went through the Bible every day. Taught me about how to be a man, how to be a godly man, how to stand when nobody else will, even if you're the only one. Don't be afraid to die for the right thing. Those kinds of things are things that I sat there and said, yes, ma'am, okay, I got it. So that's why mom. Coach Brown was my high school coach. Coach Brown believed in me. Coach Brown was tough, man. Coach Brown had a board, pop you on your tail if you don't know what you're doing. And
in practice?
Oh, yeah.
Or was it always after practice?
No, in practice, during practice. So awesome. you needed to know what you were doing. He was really a track coach, but he did.
That's old school.
Yeah, it is.
Pop you on your tail.
Good. So you had to know what you were doing. But he always talked to me about, he would say, Singletary, when you get to college, he would always talk to me as if I had already done those things. So when you get to college, there can be all kinds of distractions. You got to make sure you stay focused. Stay focused, son. It's too easy. There are a lot of guys that are more talented than you, faster, bigger, all that. They're not going to make it. You know why they're not going to make it? It's because they don't have what you have. Heart. Heart. So when you get to college, and he said, when you leave, do not come back here. I don't want to see you until you got your paper. When you got your degree, that's when I want to see you. So that was Coach Brown. And then number 3, oh man, only got 4. Number 3, would be Coach Taft, Coach Grant Taft, my head coach in college. Mm-hmm. My freshman year, Coach Taft would come by the dorm, knock on my door, say, I want you to go with me. I'm going to go speak to a church. I'm going to go speak to a council meeting. I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go do that. And I'm like, yes, sir, I'll go. And one day he called me and he said, Mike, I'm supposed to go to this church and speak, but I can't go. I need you to go for me. I'm like, go where? So I need you to go to this church and I need you to speak to them about God. You've heard me do it. I want you to do it. Yes, sir. So I'd go, and that's kind of really how I started speaking and training myself to get better at speaking. And he helped me to become the leader that God was calling me to be. And there were times that Coach Taft would come into my dorm and say, he would be crying. Said, you know what, Mike, I told this kid, if you do this again, if I catch you stealing again, I'm going to send you home. And I said, so what's the problem, Coach? So I called him again. And I said, what's the problem? I got to send him home. I said, what's the problem? I promised his mom that I was going to make sure that he got his degree. He come from nothing. He come from nothing. And I said, well, Coach, you held up your part of the bargain. I said, but if you say yes to the kid, if you don't say anything to the kid, you fail him and you fail our team. Okay. And then the other coaches would come to me and say, who in the hell do you think you are to tell him that? I said, you asked my opinion. You asked my opinion, I'm going to give it to you. I didn't go to him. Yeah. He came to me. So, but that was Coach Taft and the leadership role that he put on me. The last one, no, I got to give it to my girl, my wife.
Yeah.
Yeah, my wife is by far my best friend. She was with me when I was hard, when I was tough, when the way I played the game was the way I lived at home. I'm focused, man. You know, I'm focused, not relaxing, still trying to become a man. And she would just, it's okay. I know it's hard. I got it. And she just kept loving me through it. Until one day I really began to realize, I took a step back and I really looked at her. Said, wow. God loves me so much to give me somebody with the patience.
Yeah.
Because I knew I was stubborn, hard-headed, knucklehead. But because she loved me the way she loved me, never gave up on me, always building into me, it helped me refine myself.
Yeah.
And become all that God has created me to be. And I'm still working. But it's because of her that I feel that I'm the luckiest man in the world.
Yeah.
Yeah, my best friend, man, by far.
That's beautiful.
That is beautiful.
Yeah.
That's all the questions we got for you, Coach. That was beautiful. We got to end it on that.
Hey, yeah, man, that was great, Coach. You're probably the most passionate guest we've ever had.
Not probably. You are. This was.
I was trying to hit my best.
This is not a hot seat, but you made it a hot seat. We was trying to have fun and laugh, and I got you to laugh a couple times.
I love to laugh now.
Yeah.
I love to laugh.
Okay.
We
got to go to a comedy show then.
That's
no.
Not what he. That's not what he told Walter Payton. That was not what he told Walter Payton. You said some great things there. You know what your mom told you about. Don't be afraid to die for the right thing. I think you still live your life full speed ahead just like that. And so I'm appreciative of you spending this time with us, because for a long time I was just a fan of Mike Singletary, the player. And we got to meet Mike Singletary, the man. And we got to hear about his journey, his path, the things that created this enigma, this phenomenon that was in between the white lines wearing number 50 for Chicago Bears. And I got to look up your stats in Baylor, and I got to know you more personable. And, you know, some of the great things that were told to you were told to me. My dad, when I left school, told me, don't you come back home. That's all I got for you. That's the only advice he had for me. And I haven't been back since. And so it's always beautiful to know, like, when you've been set on the right path yourself, because you see other great ones that are out there in front of you that are still fighting the good fight. And so I thank you for that. I thank you for your passion, your emotions, and your genuine realness. You're just a different breed, and you truly are a different breed, and you should never apologize for that. I'm honored to say I got to meet you at your finest. And Peanut, you want to say anything else before I thank the viewers?
Yeah, I'm being a Chicago guy, being on, you know, I played on some great defenses, and I've seen you around. I've never had an opportunity to sit down and talk to. I wanted to when we did the Bears 100, but it was, you know, you were with your old teammates, I was with mine, so I kind of wanted to give you your space and just kind of let you be. But I am a fan first and foremost. Thank you for coming on our podcast and just pouring into us. And I'm glad my daughter's in the back. I'm glad she was here to see me work and just hear me and hear your story. So yeah, thank you for that. I'm very appreciative of that. Thank you very much.
Man, great job, man. All of our viewers and listeners out there, wherever you pick up your podcast, whether it's Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio app, give us a 5-star rating, leave a review, click follow, comment, share, subscribe, all that other stuff that Peanut always tells us.
Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a what?
Tell a friend.
Yeah.
To make sure you tune in.
And check us out on the NFL's YouTube channel. I'm Peanut. That's Romer. And that is Samurai Mike. And this is the NFL Players Second Acts Podcast. We out. Thank y'all.